The Japanese government claims the UN Secretary-General is in support of a controversial agreement between Seoul and Tokyo over the issue of wartime sexual slavery. This is despite later clarification that Antonio Guterres was in favour of the principles of the deal and not in reference to the specific terms. The confusion and controversy is likely to drive another wedge in the strained relations between South Korea and Japan. Joonhee reports.
At a regular press briefing on Monday, Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga reiterated Tokyo's opinion that UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres was in full support of Japan's comfort women deal with South Korea. The controversy began after Guterres told Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Italy that he was in favor of a bilateral agreement reached in late 2015 regarding the issue of Japan's wartime sexual slavery. However, the UN press office later clarified on Sunday that the Secretary-General's support was only limited to the principles of the deal and did not extend to its specific terms. When asked to clear up Tokyo's position on the matter, Suga said Japan's interpretation of Guterres' comments remained unchanged from its earlier view. Japan describes the deal signed under the previous Park Geun-hye administration as a final and irreversible settlement on the long-standing issue. However, President Moon Jae-in told Abe in his first telephone talks with the Japanese leader earlier this month that most Koreans are unable to accept the deal on an emotional level. Seoul's foreign ministry has said the two governments must seek joint efforts to find an alternate resolution to the dispute, given the widespread public disapproval of the Korean agreement in South Korea. A UN rapporteur has also raised concerns about the Japanese government's alleged pressuring of the media, as well as its influence over the country's history education. A full report on these issues will be submitted by David Kaye, the UN Special Rapporteur on Free Speech, at the UN Human Rights Council meeting scheduled to start in Geneva on June 6th. Historians estimate up to 200,000 women, mostly Koreans, were either coerced or threatened into sexual slavery for the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. Joonhee, Arirang News.